admit you because you're such a fine student.
I can pretty much guarantee you that wasn't going to happen with
me. You would take it though, wouldn't you? At the time, you would take it. Your parents would say, "Take it."
Take it.
So it's really what happens. You know, you're a great student and a great student athlete, and you know everybody knows who you are, and you know the top schools say we'll take you, and what the kids say is, okay, I'm going to, rather than go through all the chaos of recruiting, I'm going to commit to that school, and I'm going to concentrate on my academics in my junior and senior year, concentrate on my basketball, and just be a normal college kid and not go through that process.
Well, that's
the good part of it.
Conversely, that's what I was going to say, is that if you can make that decision early on, you don't have to struggle like so many high school students do with that questioning, is someone going to take me? Will it be a school that I want? How will I know what to choose? So at least they get that out of the way. I can see that. But I still feel like sometimes there's just so much pressure on these kids at a young age to perform. And you just pointed out, 18, 19 years old, and people are talking to them about, you know, a national championship.
Yeah. And sometimes these kids make decisions when they're 16 where they're going to go to school. That the good part we talked about. The bad part is that they make that decision and then something changes. A coach leaves. You know, we do, and that's a good point, because that's really what that's the greatest pressure that I feel is at 16 years old, a young man and his parents are going to basically say to you, "I'm going to put my career in your son's hands."
Yeah,
and we take that very seriously. We really do, and we know that all the fans have a lot. They want national championships and they want, you know, NCAA tournaments and all this. But I think we've found that if you just concentrate on taking care of your guys and making sure they're the best students they can be, the best young men they can be, and the best players they can be, if you concentrate on that, all that other stuff will take care of itself. And in the long term, what's happened for us now, we're beginning our 9th year. All of our players have graduated on time. One has left early for the NBA, and he's a Philadelphia guy, Kyle Lowry, and his mom's right here, and we got him on lockdown that when he gets his second contract, he's going to finish his degree. But people have seen now that this is what we're committed to at Villanova. These guys getting their degree, being the best people they can be, being the best students. So it's given people confidence to entrust their sons with us.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that about the graduates, because I wanted to point that statistic out. I was most impressed with that. I can look at all of these numbers and how well you've done, and particularly in the last 5 years. But as a mother, I was impressed by the fact that every one of those young men, with the exception of moving on to the NBA, had graduated, not only here at Villanova, but if I'm not mistaken, at Hofstra when you were there as well. So you should be congratulated for that. Okay, so if you're like me and you can talk basketball for hours and hours on end, I'm sure that you have questions or comments about the program in the upcoming 2010 season. Go ahead and handicap the season for me. I want to know if you think that Nova is going to make it to the Final Four, or perhaps even the championship game this time around. And I want to know what you think makes this program so successful. And if you have questions for the coach, I'm going to give you an opportunity to ask those as well. If you want to email me, you know how it works here. You can log on to csnphilly.com and then put in "It's Your Call" or IYC under the search title. That'll take you to my webpage where you can leave me a comment, or you can email me directly at tcn_IYC@cable.comcast.com. You can also find us on Facebook, MySpace, or YouTube. We are going to take a break. We will share some of those Facebook comments with you when we come back. And of course, I know you want to talk about last season's run to the Final Four. We're going to get to that as well. So stick around. There's more to come here. We're talking Villanova basketball with the man himself, Coach Jay Wright. Stay with us.
Doyle's Jewelry, provided by David Craig Diamonds and Fine Jewelry, Newtown, Pennsylvania.
Transportation for It's Your Call guests provided by Preferred Car and Limousine.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Lynn Doyle, sitting down and going inside Villanova basketball with its head coach, Jay Wright. And we're talking a little bit, obviously, about what it takes to be a successful coach and to run a successful program and to have the kind of impact on these players that you do and the kind of pressure that is associated with that. Certainly, as excited as everyone is about the upcoming season, you have to look back at the last season and just smile when you think of what you were able to accomplish. Run through it for us, like from your own personal perspective. When you think back on it, how do you define it?
Well, first of all, it was a thrill. It was. Just like everybody else, I'm a fan my whole life, and I watched the Final Four, and our coaching convention is at the Final Four every year, so we all sit in the stands and watch the game too. And it looks like so much fun, and it looks like such a thrill. It was so cool to be there and realize it is as much fun and it is as big and exciting as it looks. There's so much to it. There's so much to the Final Four that's bigger than the game. We learned all that, but the run is also a thrill because you're just living day to day, looking at the next game, and everybody around you is going crazy, but you're just looking at the next game, and it just keeps going and going. And when we were in Boston and when we won the game against Pitt, and we went back to the hotel, and imagine Villanova people who enjoy themselves and like to party as it is, being in Boston in the week for a weekend, and then knowing they're going to the Final Four. When we got back to the hotel there, it was one of the largest, happiest group of people I've ever seen. Grown men and women were crying. They were so happy. So we had a great time in Boston. I wish we could have given them a better thrill in Detroit, but Boston was awesome.
But that Pitt game, I mean, of all the games in which you've been involved, that one just has to be one that has to be in the top 5 for you.
Definitely.
If not the top 2.
No, it was. And, you just, when you're in it, you're not thinking about that. And even when Scotty Reynolds hit the shot, you're not thinking history. You're not thinking, I'm not even thinking Final Four. You're just so into that game. You're so elated, fired up about winning a big-time game. And then you get back to your hotel room and you see all the people and you realize what the impact was of that game. And, I had people tell me that's the best game of the tournament. It's one of the best college games I've ever seen. And it's so much fun. Well, actually, even when we were in Boston, we were getting emails of what was going on back on campus, people out in the streets,
right.
And they shut down Lancaster Avenue. We missed all that. We missed the party. But it was, you just don't think of it when you're in it, but you do get a chance to sit back, and it is a thrill.
See, I like I said, I love March Madness. I'm just absolutely a huge college basketball fan. Not such a big fan of pro, but I love to see the strategy and the kids and the coaches and everybody just kind of come together and attain a lifelong goal. You guys have actually put last season on a DVD so that people can enjoy it forever and ever.
It's a great behind the scenes look. Scott Graham from Wipeout Productions and Bob Stites and Mike Sheridan
and formerly with us
at our place. That's right.
Comcast.
They put it together, and it's really well done. It's a lot of behind the scenes stuff of the whole season, and you got to give them some credit for some insight. They started early in the season doing this. I don't know if they knew something. I wish they would have told me, but they've got it from the beginning of the season all the way through. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. It's a really nice piece, and we have a summer jam event in the summer, we call it, where all our Villanova alums come back, and we premiered it, and everyone loved it.
The question is, are they following you this season? If they had the inside scoop last year, I would want them on my tail again this year.
Well, Lynn, I should be looking around and see. I haven't asked them about this year, and no one said anything to me yet, so I don't know. But it was good timing on their part to do it this year.
Yeah, well, it's a great DVD.